Hello and welcome once again to Ventura College Football on the VC Sports Network tonight. The Pirates play host to the Citrus College Owls. With the shuffling of teams in the SCFA, the Pirates are left with a few familiar rivalries and a couple of opportunities for dormant rivalries to be rekindled. And here tonight, the Pirates find the latter as they meet the Owls for the first time since 2007. And a look at the standings will show that the Owls arrive in the National North and they are here to play. And so tonight's matchup is potentially of huge import as we bring in the standings. And you can see right now the Pirates enjoy the top spot in the National North, still undefeated in conference play and indeed overall at 6-0. But the Mounties at 3-1, just a half game back. And the Owls at 2-1 already have a victory in hand over the Mounties. So a victory here tonight, and all of a sudden the Owls potentially leapfrog a couple of teams all the way into the top spot in the National North. So an awful lot on the line as the Owls come here to meet the Pirates. The Owls coming off a loss a week ago, breaking a 3-game win streak. It was a 52-38 loss against the Long Beach City College Vikings. The Pirates, meanwhile, stayed perfect, traveling up to Allen Hancock for a 31-14 win to move their record to 6-0. The Owls, newly minted in the National North and looking for first place as they take on the Pirates. It's coming up next on the VC Sports Network. Pirates win the opening toss, and they elect to receive. So we will see the Pirate offense first, and we'll get an answer to our first question of the night, which is, who will we see at quarterback? Ultimately tonight, we will see both Devin Tate and Brayson Leon, who has stepped up in Tate's injury over the last few weeks and has worked his way into that rotation at the quarterback spot. And Steve Musagian telling us this week they'll definitely both play. Tate returned from injury in the victory against Allen Hancock a week ago. Did struggle somewhat, completing just 2 of 5 passes in limited duty. But as Steve Musagian was quick to point out, it had been a good 3 weeks since Devin Tate had taken a snap in a game. Pirates with a solid return on the opening kick. They will start from their own 42-yard line, so outstanding field position, near perfect conditions here in Ventura for football tonight. Warm temperatures and just a hint of wind. So 2 offenses that don't need a lot of help putting points on the board will not be hurt at all by the conditions, and the job gets a little more difficult for the 2 opposing defenses. So Tate figures to see some time along with Leon, but it looks like it is the freshman Brayson Leon that will take the first series as the Pirates go to work from their own 42. First play, Leon stepping up, gonna run and get to about the 49. Brought down after a 7-yard pickup. Bear Baker on the stop, and Baker coming off a huge performance in the loss against Long Beach City College for the Owls a week ago. 16 tackles in the 52-38 loss, but the Owls struggled mightily defensively against the talented Vikings, who put 52 on the board, 36 first downs for the Vikings, as they had their way with this Owl defense, who will look to bounce back tonight. And the job doesn't get any easier against this Pirate offense that is once again loaded and doing the job as the Pirates come in 6-0. Opening minute here on the VC Sports Network, and a big 3rd and 1 for the Pirates. They'll keep it on the ground on the left side. First down. Love Adebayo into Citrus territory to the 44, a gain of about 6. And the Pirates move the chains. The Pirates as a team averaging just under 300 yards rushing a game. So again, I mentioned the Owls coming off that shaky performance defensively, but a very tough assignment here against a talented Pirate running game. And down the sideline, Elijah Davis with the reception. Leon connects on his first pass, and the Pirates quickly on the move. Have it down to the Citrus 29. That was a gain of 15. Cohen Glover in the backfield for this first down play. Bouncing off a couple of tackles, tries to circle to the outside. Not much doing. Lucky to get back to the line. Once again, Baker on the stop. Brings up a 2nd and 10. Opening drive for the Pirates. They'll go back to Glover again. Good penetration into the backfield. Glover just gets back to the line. It looked like Jadakis Vaukalala got good penetration into the backfield. And the Pirates now face a 3rd and 10, converting at 39% on 3rd down for the season. But this is a tough assignment, and they are most likely outside the field goal range of Bodie Ing here from the 29. Looking for Gillum on the sideline, a gain of about 6. Actually, that was Bowman with the reception, so let's correct that quickly. But 6 yards for Bowman brings up a 4th and 4, and we will see the kicking unit for the Pirates, and Bodie Ing will step out to attempt this kick from 40 yards. Ing's long on the season is 36. So this would set a best for the season. It'll come from the left hash. Good snap, placement down, the kick away. It's long enough, and it's good. Ng puts it through, and the Pirates grab the lead. 11:25 remaining in the opening quarter, and a 3-0 lead for the Pirates here on the VC Sports Network. So the Pirates grab the lead in a first drive that I think you would have to call a draw, as the Pirates do get the 3-0 lead, but you have the feeling that Brandon Hayashi on that Owl sideline will take it. Indeed, the Owls did a pretty good job slowing down the Pirate running game, stuffing Cohen Glover on a couple of carries to ultimately stall the drive. Ng does convert on the field goal, but again, the Owls defensively in this matchup, you have to believe, would be happy to take threes rather than giving up sixes. So a solid return from Lorenzo Simmons, as the Owls have an outstanding return game keyed by Simmons, who has a kick return for a touchdown on the season, as the Owls as a team average just under 30 yards per return. This one out to the 36, and that will certainly be a challenge for the Pirates, trying to limit the field position for the Owls. First look for the Owls at Brian Salazar, the outstanding freshman quarterback. Completes the pass to J.P. Sandiford on the far side for a gain of about a yard. Brings up a 2nd and 9. Salazar coming in, completing 63% of his passes for 1,643 yards, 19 touchdowns against just 5 interceptions. First carry for Keon Chapman, and Chapman bounces off a tackle, falls forward to the 42, leaves a 3rd and 4. Green on the stop for the Pirates, and a big 3rd down for the Owls, who have been very good on 3rd down this season, converting at just under 40%. And they will need to sustain drives to keep the Pirate offense off the field. Salazar guns on the far side, finds Jalen Thompson for the first down. The quick out to Thompson moves the chains. Out to the 47. Hoping to be joined by Mike Zapata here shortly on the broadcast. First and 10, Salazar, quick throw, completes the pass, and Salazar listed as a freshman, but he's a gray shirt, so missed last season. But Brandon Hayashi telling us that the highly cerebral Salazar really took advantage of that gray shirt season, said that was at every training session, every practice, every meeting, including some meetings that he didn't need to be at. But in his desire to learn this offense and get ready for his opportunity, he was attending every meeting he could get to. And it has him exceptionally prepared for the season, and the numbers bear that out here over the first 6 games, as he has been terrific. Moving the chains once again to the Pirate 40. The Owls coming right back. Play action, and the completion down to the 33. Finding Lorenzo Simmons. Another catch for Simmons on this opening drive. Salazar still perfect. Has connected on all of his passes so far. 4 for 4. Brings up a 2nd down and 3 from the Pirate 33. The Owls as a team do most of their damage throwing the football. Just under 300 yards a game passing. They have struggled overall running the football as a team. Quick throw over the middle. Catch is made, finding JoJo Enriquez. Nick Duffy with the tackle. Duffy coming off a big performance for the Pirates in the win up at Allen Hancock. He had 13 tackles to lead the way. He brings down Enriquez, but not before Enriquez picks up the first down. Clock moving, winding toward 8 minutes to go in the opening quarter. The Owls on the move. And a first down carry twisting for yardage for the Owls. Cameron Bateman, the leading receiver, comes in from the edge, takes the handoff, picks up 7 yards, and another second and short coming up for the Owls. They'll overload the near side for this 2nd and 4 play. Isaiah McKee in the backfield. Salazar finds Bateman, and Bateman has the first down, spins out of a tackle, first flag down, as Bateman came in from the left to take that pass. But this will back up the Owls. And a 2nd and short will become 2nd and long. So they back up to the 27, and for the Pirates, as Mike Cepeda joins us, the Pirates hoping that penalty will stall this drive. The Owls were moving, but now it's a 2nd and 14. Simmons in motion, play action for Salazar, flips it out. And tiptoeing the far sideline, stepped out shy of the first down marker.
Great job of blocking on that far side.
And there's Mike Cepeda. Michael, good to have you. 11 yards, and it leaves a 3rd and 3. Two wide receivers to the left. Big hole on the right side, first down and more. Brought down at the 4, but Angel Barraza finding all kinds of room. Takes it to the 5.
You immediately see the size differential up front. Those are some big boys in the trenches for Citrus.
Yeah, it's a young offensive line, but one that has coalesced nicely as the season has gone on. A unit that gets along extremely well. Again, talking to Brandon Hayashi as we'll run this play from the 5. Quick pitch to the left. The Pirates are there. This is going to be a loss on the play. Good job by the Pirates. Talking about an offensive line that elects to hang out together outside of playing football quite often. They've gotten along really well. It's helped them bond as a unit, and in fact, early on in the season, even went line dancing together, which seems really good for offensive line play. I think that was it's a good move.
It's good for footwork, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the thinking. That it appears that even in a social outing, they were thinking football. 2nd and goal. Barraza on the carry, tripped up, back to the original line of scrimmage, and it brings up a 3rd and goal from the 6.
Well, Jeff, in his time at Ventura College, I think Coach Moose's defense is a lot pretty lenient in between the 20s, but once you get down to the red zone, pretty stingy.
Well, we talked about the Owls struggling running the football as a team, averaging just 3 yards a carry on the season. And in the red zone, so often you need to run the ball if you're going to get touchdowns instead of field goals. A 3rd and goal from the 6. Blitz coming, good protection. Salazar throws, pass incomplete. Looking for Bateman. Well defended. And the Pirate defense stands up in the red zone.
Just a great job defensively. You see there, Citrus trying to create a little confusion, moving the line and transitioning to a different set. Ventura all over it.
First incompletion for Salazar was Marcellus Brigham on the coverage. He was the Defensive Player of the Week a couple of weeks back. And there it comes up with the defense on the 3rd and goal. And now the Owls will look for the tie as they send on Alex Hernandez. Hernandez kick is wide left. So Hernandez misses the short field goal, and the Pirates maintain the lead. So the defense stands up, and then they get a little help from the Owls, who miss out on the short field goal. And the Pirates will keep the 3-0 lead. We'll keep it here as the Pirates will come back with 4:56 remaining in the opening period. They have the 3-0 lead. Well, that's got to be somewhat deflating for the Owls. Did a great job matriculating the ball down the field in the vernacular of Hank Stram. Boy, really showing my age with that reference. Boy, I tell you, Hank Stram, that is more than an old school reference. What's the next thing up from old school in a reference? Cohen Glover shedding tackles, has an immediate first down out to the 34.
Well, it's something the old school listeners would appreciate for sure.
It's ancient school. Leon continues at the controls. Javarian Salter in the backfield. Relatively quiet game on the ground for the Pirates in the win against Allen Hancock. Open for a first down and more. Silas Kemp with the reception. The Pirates quickly on the move. They're into Owl territory. The three-headed monster of Salter, Glover, and Adebayo, just 110 yards. And for a Pirate team, averaging just a shade under 300 yards rushing on the season. That's the Bulldogs doing a relatively good job holding them in check. Ultimately, the Pirates still got the win, 31-14. They were in control throughout. Salter wrapped up after a gain of a couple. Ibanez the first to get there to slow up Salter before he was ultimately finished off by Jarrell Comer. Comer, outstanding defensive end, leads the Owls with 3.5 sacks, and he's the latest in a trend that we are seeing across the board here in 3C2A football of players who have made the transition from basketball over to football, and Comer, another longtime basketball player, making the transition to that defensive end spot, and an explosive athlete on the outside. Comer now growing into that defensive end spot. Already put on about 10-plus pounds from the summer. An even bigger load to handle. 3rd and 2 for the Pirates from the Owl 40.
Probably a lot of brisket from Scooter's Barbecue.
Well, here tonight, Gillum, his first reception, tripped up by White, but has enough for the first down. So the Pirates go to the misdirection. They find Gillum, 4 catches in the win at Allen Hancock a week ago, including his first touchdown on the season. These teams both make great use of the tight end position. Gillum and Bowman for the Pirates, and Keaton Morales, who we'll talk about, an outstanding tight end for the Owls. Adebayo straight ahead, following Jack Sloniker, who takes over for Braden Johnson, who's out for the season at that center spot. Pickup of about 4. Comer with the stop. Pirates facing a 2nd and 6. Winding under 2 minutes to go. Fast-moving opening quarter. Pirates looking to stay perfect on the season and maintain that lead of a half game over the Mounties. Leon pop flies the far side, and the pass incomplete. He was looking for Silas Kemp. And the coverage outstanding over on the far side by Elijah Ibanez.
Indeed.
Brings up a 3rd and 6. First incompletion for Brayson Leon, as both quarterbacks have come out hot. Pirates 2 of 3 on 3rd down. This a 3rd and 6 from the 29 of Citrus. Leon, good protection over the middle, and the catch made by Tavion McCoy.
And McCoy reaching back. Not an easy ball thrown behind him, but he makes the play and extends this drive.
Let's watch here. This is all about Tavion McCoy as Leon sets, fires, but that's well behind. That's a great job by McCoy. Just one catch a week ago. That's a big one to continue the drive here tonight. Fresh set of downs for the Pirates. They're back in the red zone. Glover now accelerates to the corner. Gets to the 15. That's a gain of about 4. Brings up a 2nd and 6. Thomas White eventually forces him out of bounds. Part of a talented linebacking core for the Owls as they try to continue the good work done by Kyle Firm. Outstanding sophomore who departed and headed to SMU this season, but they are back and reloaded at that linebacker spot. White, one of them, Comer, going to come up with the sack. And I think, Mike, an assist to the Owl secondary, nowhere for Leon to go. And Comer gets there. 4.5 sacks now on the season for Comer as he swallows up Leon. A loss of 9 leaves a 3rd and 14.
Should take us to the second quarter. Hard-fought battle here from Ventura.
Yeah, the Pirates not going to run another play. We're through 1. The Pirates leading at 3-0. It's Ventura College football on the VC Sports Network. Pirate football sponsored by Pegasus Transit. At Pegasus Transit, we believe in going the extra mile to exceed your expectations. Our tailored transport solutions are designed with your comfort and convenience in mind. And we bring you back for the start of the second quarter with the Pirates facing a 3rd and 14. Glover out of the backfield. Going to be stopped short. Second effort still just shy. That is a great effort from Cohen Glover, but doesn't quite get there. And an early decision for Steve Mushagian facing a 4th and short. Inside the 15, Ing has already converted from 40. This would be much shorter, just 29 yards, but the Pirate offense going to stay on the field. The Pirates are just 3 of 6 on 4th down on the season. Direct snap. And hit in the backfield. McNabb on the carry. He is going to be held short of the first down. Bear Baker with the stop. And let's watch one more time. And coming off the edge, Baker anticipating that play. Holds McNabb shy of the first down marker. And the lead remains 3 for the Pirates. So both teams with good opportunities to put points on the board, but ultimately stymied. The Owls by a missed field goal. Now the Pirates stopped short on a 4th down. Chapman out of the backfield, no gain on the play. 2nd and 10. Salazar with Chapman in the backfield, bunch formation on a 2nd and 10. Now they'll spread out. Trouble on the snap. It's still loose. And they will scramble for it. Big call coming up. And it looks like the Owls did get to it. Let's watch one more time here as Salazar just can't handle the snap, and then in the confusion, well, the Pirates almost got there. Disaster averted for Citrus, who now face a 3rd and 13. Straight drop, Salazar guns on the near side, and the pass incomplete. He was looking for Thompson. Excellent coverage from James Rose. No chance to squeeze that football in. It's a quick 3 and out. So the Pirates miss on the opportunity as they are stopped on 4th down, but do get the quick 3 and out and figure to get it back with very good field position. Early stages, 2nd quarter. Hernandez on to kick it away. Sorry, Mike. Alex Hernandez, who handles both the kicking and punting duties, moving up to take it. McCoy spins out of a tackle. McCoy still going at the 20, 15, hit at the 10, still on his feet, moves forward, out of bounds at the 8. That's a gutsy play by Tavion McCoy to move up and take that ball on the run, but it works to the tune of about 40 yards.
Well, Jeff, they've had some pretty potent offenses, and the defense really has their moments, but I think since Coach Moose has taken over here in Ventura, the one mainstay in terms of just being absolutely great has been special teams.
First down carry. Jeremiah Jackson with his first carry. And Jackson, who had 34 yards on just 3 carries in the win at Allen Hancock, now earns another chance here on this series. Takes it down to the 5 where it'll be 2nd and goal. Glover on in the backfield. Snap to Leon, 4-man rush, throwing back of the end zone. Gillum with the touchdown. Ryan Gillum. His 2nd consecutive week with a touchdown reception. And the Pirates now lead it 9-0.
It's a great job executing in the red zone by the Pirates. Now 2-possession game. Extra point up and good. 12:03 remaining in the 2nd quarter. Watching Ventura College football on the VC Sports Network, produced by SoCal College Sports.
Pirates on the touchdown reception by Ryan Gillum push the lead to 10-0, taking advantage of the quick 3-and-out and the good field position set up by the return by Tavion McCoy. So after we talked about the Owls in the return game, it's the Pirates that come up with the big return and the very short field. Flags on the return. Simmons tripped up shy of the 20. And let's see if the Owls are going to back up a little bit more on what becomes a critical drive here early in the second quarter. You don't want the Pirates to run away and hide, and now they've pushed the lead to double digits at 10-0.
Jeff, do you have me?
I do.
Get to some scores from around the SCFA as the playoff picture beginning to take shape here in the South.
Yeah, we're getting to the fun part coming up here in this final month. Talked at the top about the National North and the Mounties in at 3-1. The win earlier today. Pirates looking to stay perfect at 4-0, but the Owls could leapfrog everybody if they could pull off an upset here tonight and move to 3-1 with that win in hand earlier over the Mounties. First down carry for Chapman out to the 13. That's a gain of about 5 and a good push on the right side of that offensive line following Richard Salcido and Jose Torres. Again, 4 freshmen on that Owl offensive line. So a young unit. 7 yards for Chapman on the carry, and the Owls would love to get a little running game going, but this going nowhere. Chapman hit well behind the line. With forward progress, he'll get to the 11. That is a break that it's only a loss of a couple, and it leaves a much more manageable 3rd and 5. That was well diagnosed and no chance. They'll spread out with 4 wide receivers. Salazar looking over the Pirate defense. Blitz coming. Salazar steps up, looking deep, and the pass incomplete. He was looking for Thompson, who had a step, but Salazar couldn't drop it in. And for the second consecutive series, the Pirates, yes, indeed, there is a flag down. The Pirates were that close to a quick 3-and-out. Let's see what the flag is. That is against the Pirates, and on a 3rd and 5, it is going to be enough for a first down. Out to the 20, I should say out to the 16. They needed the 16. They got the 16 and about 3 inches.
Wow.
Not many penalties here tonight, and in fact, if my memory is right, that is the first penalty on the Pirates. But it's a costly one. It cost them an opportunity to get off the field and potentially a short field for their offense. Instead, it's a big first down for the Owls. Chapman falling forward after contact, a pickup of about 6, brings up a 2nd and 4. Pirates come in relatively healthy. D'Amato Pecco was questionable for tonight, and it looks like he's not out there, and that is a huge loss for the Pirates defensively. Pecco, tremendous defensive end for the Pirates. But so far, the Pirates have continued their strong performance going back to a week ago when they limited the Bulldogs, who were resurgent here in conference play, to just 14 points in a 31-14 win. So a Pirate defense that struggled somewhat at times over the first month of the season appears to be rounding into form off a good performance a week ago, and now so far pitching a shutout here early second quarter against the Owls. Chapman on the carry, picking his way forward for a couple. Leaves a 2nd down and 8. Peyton Moyse, the first to get there. A little help from Duffy. Well, Chapman managed to move the pile a little bit there. They'll give him 4 yards, solid spot. Leaves a 2nd and 6. Bunch formation once again. Snap to Salazar, throwing. Could be picked off, and it is. Looks like it's Neos on the interception. Let's watch it one more time. And Salazar, just a rare errant throw. Did have a couple of interceptions in the loss to Long Beach a week ago, but Mike, I think this is just off the back foot. Overshoots his target, and Neos right there.
I think you're exactly right there. Just kind of sailed on him. And the defender right there to pick it off, and Ventura in business.
Pirates improving that plus-minus in the turnover department, now plus 11 on the season with that interception. Leon stepping up, going to just tuck it and run. Slides down after a gain of about 5.
Should be a flag. Where's the flag? He gave himself up. He slid, and then the defender comes in right on top of him.
Yeah, Comer chasing down that play, and lucky not to cost his team 15 yards. No flags on the play. 4 yards for Leon. Brings up a 2nd down and 6. Glover on the right side, cuts it back, falls forward near the 1st down. Cohen Glover, just 48 yards a week ago, but Glover, the leading rusher on the season, comes in 500 yards on the ground, averaging 8.1 yards a carry. That's getting the job done. Moves the chains down to the Owl 31. Pirates again working on a relatively short field. They have it in Owl territory. They'll overload the near side on a 1st and 10. Glover straight ahead. Good push on the interior of that offensive line. 7 yards following Sloniker along with O.J. Ocampo and Angel Rosales on the interior of that offensive line. And that's an interesting battle here tonight as the Owls boast a couple of outstanding defensive linemen themselves in Tyson Toscano and Jadakis Valcala. A couple of returning sophomores who've been outstanding. And they have their hands full tonight against a Pirate offensive line that has keyed a tremendous running game this season. Pass incomplete brings up a 3rd down and 3. The Pirates on 3rd down tonight are 3 of 5. This a big one from the 24. Owls badly in need of a stop. Leon, who's gone the route so far at the quarterback spot, has Salter in the backfield. Quick pitch to Salter. Off tackle on the right side. Salter in the clear. Salter going to take it in for a touchdown. Salter initially encountered a little resistance, but then once he found his way into the clear at about the 15, nobody going to get him. And the Pirates now leading it 16-0, Ing on for the extra point. And this one close early, but now the Pirates starting to create a little distance. 7:29 remaining in the 1st half. The Pirate lead is 17. They're on top 17-0 here on the BC Sports Network. $17-0. The Pirates extend the lead Touchdown run by Javarian Salter. And this one into the end zone. And the Owls will start from the 25. And now badly in need of some kind of answer as they trail it 17-0 midway through the second quarter. Salazar 9 of 12, but for just 46 yards and the one interception by Neos. Interesting talking about Charlie Neos this week. Another in a long line of outstanding safeties for the Pirates over the last several years in our coverage here on the VC Sports Network. And Neos just the latest captain at that safety spot. But Steve Mushagian talking about that not only has Neos been outstanding in his play, he's been versatile, having to play 3 different positions so far this season and excelling at all 3. Comes up with the big interception earlier. That leads to a touchdown. That one nearly intercepted. Pass incomplete. A flag down at the Owl offensive line. This one gonna go against Citrus. The pass was intended for Bateman, but the Owls lucky that it wasn't intercepted. Leaves a 1st and 15. If there's been a bit of good news, it's that the Owls have had some success running the ball, averaging a little over 5 yards a carry in this one. And good room once again for Chapman. And there's a flag down, flags coming in from everywhere, and I think this is going to be on the tackle. I believe it was Mason Koso chasing that play down. But tack on 15 yards after the 6-yard run by Chapman. But if you're looking for some good news for the Owls, it could be that in somewhat limited carries, they have had some success running the ball. Brandon Hayashi telling us that running the ball is going to be absolutely critical in this matchup. Perhaps most importantly, slowing down the Pirate run game, but also running the ball themselves. Certainly going to help make their offense a little more versatile as well. Rose quickly there with the tackle on Thompson. A gain of just a couple for Jalen Thompson. Takes it to the Pirate 46, where it's 2nd down and 8. Inside handoff, not much doing. Chapman going to be brought down behind the line. Good penetration, blowing that play up, and Ethan Hansen finishing it off. And a 3rd and 9 upcoming for Citrus. 3 of 6 on 3rd down tonight. The Pirates had been struggling this season defensively on 3rd down, allowing opponents to convert at 41%. But an opportunity to get off the field here with a 3rd and 9. Snap to Salazar, blitz coming, good protection. Salazar pop flies the near side, but the pass incomplete. He was looking for Sire Foster. And the pass underthrown leaves a 4th and 9, and so far the Owl offense is not moving. And it looks as though they're going to line up to go for it. The Owls 3 of 9 on 4th down as a team this season. And it's a tough assignment. Salazar, straight drop, good protection, guns over the middle, complete for a 1st down. JoJo Enriquez finds a soft spot. Now a late flag comes in. The news may get better. This is where you would expect to see some kind of personal foul against the Pirates. But let's wait on the call. But it started with great protection up front. Time for Salazar. He finds Enriquez for a first down. Let's watch. Looks like this might be going against Enriquez, and I don't. No, I believe that's on Kevion Moore, Special Teams Player of the Week from a week ago in the win up at Allen Hancock. So the penalty on Moore takes it all the way down to the 15, and now the Owls are in business in the red zone with a 1st and 10 off the big 4th down conversion, finding Enriquez. They'll keep it on the ground, running right. Chapman lowers the shoulder down to the 11, 4 yards. Koso with the stop. Brings up a 2nd down and 6. Chapman tries the left side. And a pickup of 3. Brings it to a 3rd and 3. And a field goal gets you within 2 scores, but boy, I have the decided feeling that the Owls have to feel like they need a touchdown here. A 3 does something for you, but down 17, late stages first half, I think they need the touchdown here. 3rd and 3. Chapman hit at the line, only a yard. Koso again plugging the hole, and a decision for Hayashi on the sideline. He's going to send out Alex Hernandez, who did miss a short attempt earlier here in the first half. Hernandez, with that miss, still 5 of 7 on the season. And he will come on here. This will be an attempt of 24 yards. It'll come from the left hash. Now whistles before the snap, flags are down. And the Owls are going to back up 5 on the delay of game. So Hernandez will now try from 29 yards. Again from the left hash. Good snap placement down. Kick up and good. Hernandez converts. Owls on the board. 3:16 remaining in the first half. And the Pirate lead 17-3 here on the VC Sports Network. Owls convert on the field goal. Hernandez from 29 yards out. And they are on the board, but the Pirates still lead 17-3. And they will have ample opportunity to answer back. 3:09 remaining in the first half. And they have all 3 timeouts. So, Mike, I think the whole playbook still available for the Pirates in this situation. And the return out to the 25. It's like McCoy fighting for yardage, stood up, driven back. And the Pirates will start from the 25. I believe that was Jamari James on the return. 3:02 remaining in the first half. Pirates leading at 17-3. And, you know, Mike, I think it's interesting when you look at the stats overall, relatively even in a lot of statistical categories. I think the big return by Tavion McCoy and the interception by Charlie Neos. So a defensive play and a special teams play. Really the difference in this one in the 17-3 lead for the Pirates.
Nice move.
Quick throw in the flat, completion near first down yardage. Brings up a 2nd and 1. Well, the word we got was that we would see Devin Tate here tonight, but so far it's been Brayson Leon. And Leon, after a somewhat shaky performance in his first game as a freshman, but after that, as Adebayo has enough for the first down, Leon has been sensational. Coming in now, completing 64% of his passes, 10 touchdowns on the season, no interceptions for Brayson Leon. And what can you say about a freshman quarterback making the jump to the next level? And more than midway through his freshman campaign, still hasn't thrown a pick. 4-man rush. Leon completes to McCoy. McCoy circling back to the inside, still on his feet. Now stood up at the 48. Tavion McCoy with the first down and more into Owl territory. They'll give him the 47.
McCoy with a huge game here this evening. Had the big return, as you just mentioned, and now making a play, another chunk play there for the Pirates. Looks like Citrus going to call a timeout.
Couple of catches now for McCoy. 1:52 remaining in the first half. The Pirates in Owl territory, leading it 17-3. They'll wind the clock back to 2 minutes for the 2-minute timeout. And Adebayo circling to the outside. Flags are down as Adebayo is into the Owl secondary. For the moment appears to have enough for a first down, but let's see if some or all of this is coming back.
Looks like a flag where you'd have a hold here.
Yeah, over on the far side. Although, Mike, it looks to me like it's coming from somewhat downfield, so the Pirates not all the way back to a 1st and 20. Instead, it'll be a slightly more manageable 1st and 14. Nonetheless, they lose out on the good work by Adebayo, and instead face a 1st and call it 15 from their own 48. Clock moving, 1:49 and counting remaining in the first half. Leon, deep drop, has time, looking deep over the middle, incomplete. He was looking for Elijah Davis. And the pass incomplete. And I believe Davis working over there on the far side against Curly Kirkpatrick, who's an interesting story for the Owls as well. Kirkpatrick originally attended LA Southwest and then made the switch to Citrus where he was just taking classes, but then approached Coach Brandon Hayashi about joining the team, but also about moving from wide receiver where he played at LA Southwest and instead wanting to return to his high school roots as a defensive back.
Another flag.
Do have a flag down, and how good has Kirkpatrick been making the move back to defensive back? 4 interceptions on the season. Another flag against the Pirates, and the Pirates doing themselves no favors after they briefly got themselves into Owl territory. Now a couple of penalties, and they will face a second. Make it a 3rd and 15. I believe this penalty might have been declined. Yeah, we're thinking the same thing, Mike. So Owls going to take their chances on a 3rd and 15. Still 1:35 remaining here in the first half. Leon stepping up in the pocket, going to tuck it and run, but tripped up. Bear Baker, another good tackle, this one in the open field.
Just going to say, what a great job defensively in the open field for Citrus, and now 4th and looks like about 11. So the punting unit likely going to come on here for the Pirates.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. And the Owls going to elect to stop the clock. They've still got some time. And we'll see Lucas Clothier and the Pirate punting unit. Owls still have 2 timeouts themselves in addition to 84 seconds.
What a gut punch it would be right here if Coach Moose maybe went for a fake here. I know it's 4th and 11, but I mean,
there's nobody who loves the fake.
This is the area where you would try it, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you see something where maybe you can catch them a little bit off guard, I think when you've got the 14-point lead, I expect Steve Mushagian to play a little more of the field position game. But, Mike, I think we would agree that nobody loves the fake punt more than you do. I'll tell you, if you were a coach, boy, I'll tell you, you'd have to be ready for the fake punt. I would always assume. I said, listen, got Coach Cepeda over there. You got to be worried about the fake. Snap to Clothier. And he will kick it away. Looking on that far side, taking on a hop at the 12. And back out to the 20-yard line. 8 yards on the return for Enriquez. And a long field for the Owls. 1:15 remaining. I know you're down 17-3, but boy, from this end of the field against a Pirate defense that has been very opportunistic this season in terms of forcing turnovers, there is danger here for the Owls.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, there was already 1 pick near this spot on the field, and Citrus, I thought, took 2 timeouts, and they're showing us having 2 left.
Salazar looking deep, and the catch made over on the far side by Lorenzo Simmons. Big play right off the bat for 35 yards. Immediately takes it to the Pirate 45. Well, now there's less danger. You're working more from midfield. Salazar wants to move quickly. The Owls still have 2 timeouts, but not going to use them for now as they stop the clock to move the chains. Salazar rainbows the far side. The pass incomplete. And if you're the Owls, that play's not going to kill you. 5 seconds comes off, leaves a 2nd and 10 from the Pirate 45. Well, how about the gutsy play call from the 20? 35 yards finding Simmons. Salazar dancing in the pocket, now steps up, going to tuck it and run. That's notable for Salazar, who has negative 30 yards rushing on the season, of course. For those who might not be aware, sacks count against your rushing total as a quarterback, but it does speak to the pocket presence of Salazar, who doesn't often get out and run despite being a very good athlete, but prefers to
preserve the clock.
Prefers to throw the ball, certainly. Out in the flat, but trouble brewing here for Chapman, who's going to be hit. No gain on the play. takes it to the Pirate 43. Now down to 27 seconds, and the Owls have to burn a timeout. When we come back, they'll
why
face
not
a
burn
third.
a timeout prior?
Yeah, they let some time slip off, wanting to move quickly. Still had 2 timeouts, so you weren't down to your final timeout. When we come back, it's going to be a 4th and 8 after the 4-yard loss on the completion to Chapman. You're watching Ventura College football on the VC Sports Network, produced by SoCalCollegeSports.com. Fourth and 8 for the Owls. They've already converted one huge 4th down earlier in the second quarter. That led to a field goal. And now facing a 4th and 8 down to 27 seconds. Salazar stepping up, completes the pass on the near side, finding Cameron Bateman, the leading receiver on the season. This looks like it'll come down to the spot. This is very close. And they are signaling that Bateman got there. And Bateman with 38 receptions on the season. Far and away the leading receiver for a very talented receiver core for Citrus College. And comes up with the big 4th down reception. Now Salazar, that one might have been partially tipped at the line, but it's complete. Shy of the 1st down. Now that'll keep the clock moving. We're down to 10 seconds. 9 seconds. The Owls still have a timeout, but they're not going to take it. And instead they'll spike it, but it's all the way down to 6 seconds, maybe 5. Yeah, it's 5 seconds. And, Mike, I think you preserved the timeout, but you only got time enough for one more play now no matter what.
You know, Jeff, I think they took their 3rd timeout. If memory serves, I think they've taken 3 timeouts already in this half. So I think the scoreboard might be showing as incorrect.
Yeah, they do. It does show 1, but, yeah, I think it does leave you scratching your head of keeping that final timeout when you're down to 5 seconds, because now you're going to have to send out Alex Hernandez. Well, no,
they just called another timeout, so they did have another timeout.
Yeah, that's okay. So we're back to our original point.
So Jeff, they had another timeout. They have to burn a timeout here because they don't want to lose 5 yards on the 3rd and 1 with only 5 seconds left. I think you got to bring out your field goal.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that, and I think it ends up working out for them that they have the timeout rather than costing themselves 5 yards. This is already going to be 43 yards, so a lengthy attempt for Alex Hernandez. So perhaps in the end, it's a happy result for the Owls, who it turns out needed that timeout to perhaps stay in Hernandez's range. On the season, Hernandez now 6 for 8. But his long is just 35 yards. So this will be a challenge, as this will come from 43 yards. Well, hold everything, because right now they're not going to send Hernandez out there. And indeed, they're going to take one more shot from the 26. So final play, first half. Salazar stepping up, flushed from the pocket, throwing into the end zone. Jump ball incomplete. So the Pirate defense holds again, and they'll take a 17-3 lead into the break. Halftime from Ventura, and the Pirates on top by 14 here on the VC Sports Network. Pirate football brought to you by A&A Concrete. When it comes to concrete, don't settle for cracks and callbacks. Go with the pros at A&A Concrete. We pour strength, precision, and reliability into every project, big or small. From driveways to foundations, we've built our reputation on solid work and satisfied customers. Need it done right the first time? Call A&A Concrete. Built to last. Also brought to you by Big Brand Tire and Service. Big on fast, big on friendly. And Quality Windows. Our service puts the quality in our name. start of the third quarter. And the Owls will have it. Lorenza Simmons back deep. Very even first half in many statistical categories. Total yards just 184 to 151 in favor of the Pirates. The time of possession exactly even at 15. First downs exactly even at 11.
Jeff, you with me?
Yes, absolutely, Michael. But special teams and defense, the difference so far, the big interception by Charlie Neos, the big return by Tavion McCoy, both leading to touchdowns, and that's the difference as we start the third quarter.
Jeff, I thought Citrus acquitted themselves pretty well in that first half. Just like you said, the difference is special teams and the defensive play made on the interception. Citrus with an upset win over Mount Sac earlier in the year. Their only blemish was versus Saddleback. Saddleback 6-1 on the season, dispatching San Diego Mesa earlier today, 59-41. And people will remember their head coach, former Ventura offensive coordinator Jeff Fisher.
And picking up right where he left off. First carry for Chapman. The Pirates' ability to limit the Owls from having any big plays, also a huge storyline. The biggest play from scrimmage was 35 yards. There was one lengthy completion, but outside of that, the next biggest play, just 12 yards. This, another chunk gain for the Owls. Will take it out near midfield. But 5 different receivers for the Owls all average over 13 yards of reception. This is a team whose hallmark has been big plays, and the Pirates in the first half really able to limit that big play ability and keep this Owl offense largely at bay to the tune of just 3 points. Setting up the screen. Completion.
Great tackle.
To Jalen Thompson. And the good open field tackle for the Pirates by Marcellus Brigham. After it looked like for a moment Thompson might have the first down and more, instead he settles for 7 yards. It leaves a 2nd and 3. But the Owls on the move on this opening drive here in the third quarter. Bunch formation, the handoff to Chapman coming off the edge. Chapman going to be lucky to get back to the line. A.J. Gogo off the sideline, and Gogo perhaps appropriate as he was quick off the edge, limiting Chapman to just a yard. It leaves a big 3rd and 2 from the Ventura 42. 3 wide receivers to the left. Salazar pumps, now fires, completes in traffic. Bateman with the catch. Moves the chains. Salazar now 16 of 22, but still under 100 yards passing. We have a Pirate player down. Let's watch here as Salazar does a good job waiting for this window to open up. Watch the pump and then able to squeeze it in. Finding Bateman, the sure-handed receiver, leading the Owls in receptions on the season far and away. But a quiet night so far. As the Owls pick up the first down, they'll have a fresh set of downs from the Pirate 33. Yeah, up to the moment, Salazar 16 of 22, but for 95 yards. No touchdowns and the 1 interception. Still, the situation somewhat precarious for the Pirates. The Owls on the move. They have it in Pirate territory. A touchdown here, and it's a 1-score game. You could very quickly look up in this one and be in a battle if you're the Pirates.
Indeed.
Motion. They fake to Bateman. Now setting up the pass in the flat. Slipping through a couple of tackles and down to the 25. Chapman with the reception. Brought down by Zenlu, who finally tracked down Chapman, but not before he picks up 8 yards and another 2nd and short. Tough spot for the Pirates defensively. The Owls have done a great job on first down so far tonight. On the far side, catch is made for a first down. Down to as Salazar with the play action finds Simmons wide open. First touchdown for the Owls, and they take the opening kickoff in the third quarter and go the distance, getting themselves back within a score as Hernandez will look to tack on the extra point. Well, the Owls moving into the National North, and it is not exactly out of left field that they are immediately a player in that National North division. This is a team that had an undefeated season back in 2022 in the American Conference, going undefeated in Brandon Hayashi's first season as the full head coach of the Owls. Then they make the move to the National, and in their first season in the National Conference, they go 8-3, including a bowl win in the Western State Bowl over College of the Canyons. 500 a year ago, narrowly missing a postseason berth. But they are back here in 2025 with a record of 4-2, and they're back in this one, now down just 7. But this is a program that's had an awful lot of success under Brandon Hayashi. They kick away, taken at the 15. Rollins on the return, picking his way through tacklers, and he's out all the way to the 38. So a solid return for Rollins. They'll spot it at the 34. Let me correct that very quickly. 19 yards, but good field position to start for the Pirates, who all of a sudden, maybe for the first time tonight, really need an answer.
Got to get something going offensively. They've been pretty stagnant outside of the two plays on very short fields after big plays off by the defense and special teams.
Yeah, they start inside the 10 after the McCoy return, and they start in Owl territory after the Neos interception. So they have been winning the field position battle, certainly, and that's been the difference. Glover on the carry, for 6 yards. Brings up a 2nd and 4, and when the Pirates need to get something done offensively, they will rely on that running game. And they go right to Glover, who picks up 6 yards, leaves a 2nd and 4. They'll send all 3 wide receivers to the left for this second down play. Leon setting up in the pocket, stepping up, now throws with tacklers hanging off him and manages to complete the pass. What a play from Leon.
Yeah, they're going to move it.
Gillum with the reception.
Jeff, a terrific individual effort.
Yeah, we're going to watch it one more time. And with the pocket collapsing, how about the presence?
Man.
To get rid of it and find Gillum. Back to live action. Leon fakes now, finds some running room in the Owl secondary. Leaps a man at the 45. Leon with a first down and more, all the way down to the Owl 35.
Well, Jeff, you said they needed an answer. Pretty good response here for the Pirates.
Yeah, the answer is Brayson Leon. First and 10 from the Owl 35. 4-man rush, good protection over the middle. Catch is made. Gain of about 6. Elijah Davis with the reception. Brought down by Ibanez. Leaves a 2nd down and 4. So Elijah Davis brought down by Elijah Ibanez. But the 6-yard pickup moves it to the 29. Pirates looking for a little breathing room with the Owls back within 7. Love Adebayo on the carry. Picks up a couple. Leaves a 3rd and 2. Maddox Barrios with the tackle. Again, part of that talented quartet of linebackers for the Owls. We've called Bear Baker's name quite a bit tonight. First time we've got to talk about Maddox Barrios. 3rd and 2, bunch formation for the Pirates. Snap to Leon. Blitz coming. Leon near side, completes to McCoy. Stiff arms a man, makes a move at the 15. McCoy in for the touchdown.
Good Lord. What a move.
Well, it was the strength for the stiff arm and then the little move at the 15.
That was
pick up your jock strap at Lost and Found.
Yeah, shades of Reggie Bush.
And we'll stay here for Ing's extra point, and then we will have a couple of looks at the work of Tavion McCoy as the Pirates indeed do answer back. After the Owl touchdown, Ing punches it through. The lead back to 14 at 24-10. And back to McCoy. Little separation, and then finds the space.
Man.
Well, Tavion McCoy. Right now, the only question is Tavion McCoy in position to be the offensive player of the week or the special teams player of the week? And that's the decision right now that might be facing the Pirate coaching staff as they get ready to make that call at the conclusion of this one. But McCoy certainly doing it all. And the Pirate lead back to 24-10. We'll keep it here, and the Owls will have to go back to work. Well, this is the difficulty. Dealing with the Pirates, especially here at the Sportsplex, where they just seem to play with so much confidence, so much swagger, all the success that they've had. And you find yourself down 14 and you get a little work done, you get on the board, but then the Pirates come out and answer back.
Some scores from around the SCFA here, Jeffrey. Santa Monica on top of San Bernardino Valley, 30-24. Desert over Compton, 64-6. San Diego Mesa going down to Saddleback. Saddleback now 5-1, 59-41. We mentioned that earlier. Golden West in a romp over Orange Coast, 69-6. We'll get back to some more scores here shortly.
Yeah, did Orange Coast cover the spread in that one? That's
Yeah, I think they were minus 60. So I think they covered.
That's
for informational purposes only.
That's a tough assignment. The Golden West going down the road. And Nick Mitchell's Rustlers now 7-0.
Indeed.
And we'll have them certainly on SoCal College Sports.
And next week, big matchup versus Cerritos.
Well, the playoff picture in all of these divisions, just so tight. And the margin for error, even for these teams, if the Pirates hold on here and stay perfect, you're 7-0. Golden West is 7-0, but both of those programs just one loss from being right back in the mix and maybe on the outside looking in for a playoff spot. That's how competitive it is.
Well, you look at one of the final scores earlier today, Riverside over Southwestern. Southwestern 6-1, but they lose their first game of the season. Riverside 69-42, so Riverside trying to climb back into the playoff picture here. They're 5-2.
Yeah, a couple of losses. But that's a team right there that Salazar throwing on the run and completing. Finds Thompson and takes it to the Owl 42 for a first down. But, in our experience covering the SCFA for a number of years, I think the Tigers are one of those teams that every other team in the playoffs would be happy if they weren't there. A team that's had a lot of success and always so dangerous putting points on the board.
Agreed.
And right now, you have to figure at 5-2 that they're on the outside looking in as the pass complete for a pickup of 4. But still a lot of football to be played, and they can easily get back into it, and they certainly did to a large extent with that big win at Southwestern today. Receivers left and right, 2nd and 6. And they give on the right side, another good hole on the right side. McKee on the carry. First down for the Owls. And again, following Jose Torres on the right side with Richard Salcido. And you really have to give the Owls a lot of credit. This is a team that had struggled mightily running the football for much of this season, but they are having some success. And that is doing a couple of things for them. It's moving the football, Mike, but also it's giving their defense a chance to get a little blow on the side, having to deal with this Pirate offense.
And Jeff, you really see right now Pecco not in the ball game. Not that I've seen so far. And what a miss he is.
Yeah, dynamic playmaker on that defensive line. Play action, open over the middle, inside the 10. First catch for Keaton Morales, working over the middle. He is an outstanding tight end for the Owls. Morales comes in with 17 catches on the season, a couple of touchdowns. That's his first catch tonight, and it's a big play taking it all the way down to the Pirate 5.
Great find right up the seam for Citrus, and they're on the doorstep.
Well, one of the things that Brandon Hayashi talked about when he was talking about his team as Chapman hit and brought down for a loss of a yard is how great this team has been to work with in terms of how coachable so many of the players are. Player after player just talking about how they've been taking to the coaching and really learning the game, and perhaps not a surprise that they've come out after halftime and have been much better in this third quarter. This, you have the feeling, has been the dynamic all season for the Owls as Chapman, pushing the pile, is in for a touchdown. Second touchdown here in the third quarter for the Owls, who have completely flipped the script here in this second half.
And they're 2 for 2.
And what can you say about Brian Salazar, who in the first half largely acquitted himself well, certainly completing the majority of his passes, did have the one miscue with the interception, really taking what the defense was giving him, but he's come out in this third quarter and been far more dynamic with a touchdown pass and then a big pass setting up the touchdown run by Chapman.
With a lack of a pass rush for the Pirates, is really rearing its head here in the third quarter. 2 drives for Citrus, 2 touchdowns, and they're right back in it.
And it's a ball game again. Back to 1 score. Taken at the 12. And running room near midfield. Big return for the Pirates. So the Pirates special teams coming up with a big play as the Pirates will once again look to answer. And let's bring up, again, a quick look at the standings. We talked a little bit about at the top, but boy, the North is getting very crowded, especially with a Long Beach City College team that is resurgent after a slow start this year. The big win against Canyons last week, another win today. They're now 3-1. So they join the fray along with Mount Sac. Citrus right in this one, and the Pirates, meanwhile, trying to maintain their lead. They're still perfect. Salter spinning his way into the Owl secondary, has a first down. Down to the Owl 28. Javarian Salter ripping off another big gain. Had the 24-yard touchdown run. A sensational effort in the first half. And another sizable gain there. Back to Salter, hit immediately, manages to fall forward. Now pushing the pile for about 4. That's a great job by Salter, showing a lot of strength. Originally hit by White, it looks like at the line, but Salter spins off and then churns his legs for 4 yards.
Yep.
And what could have been a 2nd and 10 instead is a 2nd and 6 as Cohen Glover returns. Boy, Mike, how big has special teams been tonight?
Massive.
Pirates
It's the difference in the game, Jeff.
The big return here sets up a short field. They're immediately down to the 22. Short completion over the middle leaves a 3rd and 4 after a gain of 2. Donovan Perez with the tackle on the reception by McCoy. And a massive 3rd and 4 for both teams. Pirates looking for a little breathing room once again, and the Owls, with their offense finding its groove here in the 3rd quarter, chopping to get back on the field. Perhaps look for a tie.
If this is maybe 4th down territory. Sorry there, Jeff.
On the right side, pitch and catch and a 1st down. That ball came out late, and it's going to be called incomplete. They were looking for Davis, and Davis can't secure it. And now, Mike, we'll get an answer to your question. Is Steve Mushagian thinking about going for it? No. It looks like we're going to see Bodie Ing and a field goal attempt of 39 yards.
Jeff, I'd love to see a replay if we have it of that play.
Well, let's look right here, and then maybe we'll see if we have it from field level as well. But this catch is initially made, Mike.
Wow.
But then the closeout. Ing's attempt on the way.
Looks good.
No good.
Oh, wow.
And the Owls get the stop via the missed field goal. And now with 3:36 remaining in the 3rd quarter, an opportunity to perhaps pull even.
Jeff, let's take a look at the field level shot here. You beat me to it.
Well, this is going to be the field goal. Let's have one more look, and then we'll go back.
Oh, Paul.
And look at this one coming through, and looked like he just pulled it wide right.
Yeah. Yep.
Off the foot of Ing. But let's see if we can go back and have a quick look and see what maybe. All right. Give me a second here. We're going to see if we can slow it down just a bit. Boy, that is off.
Came out. That's.
Yep. I think it's a great call.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it shows you what a game of inches it can be, as Davis was that close to really making a football move. He had it started to turn, and just in that fraction of a second, that ball was punched out. And that's a great job. Duran Johnson on the coverage, getting a hand in, punching it out. 2nd and 7 as we're back live. Salazar, play action out in the flat. Blockers in front. Simmons, a 1st down and more. And the Owls have got that misdirection offense humming now. Out to the 43. There was a flag down, but they're going to send off Gojo, whose helmet came off, so he'll head off for a play. And the Owls have it 1st and 10 from the 43. Play action, Salazar completes the pass to Morales. 1st down, Keaton Morales. They are into Pirate territory. And this, a dynamic that we often see from the Pirates here at the Sportsplex. Yeah. This offense is rolling downhill right now. And this Owl offense, you could feel the confidence up here in the booth.
Jeff, you're exactly right. They're humming along here, and they're in the hurry up, and this defense has no answers right now.
Play action, Salazar sets, fires, and the pass incomplete. It hung in the air. That one stayed in the air just long enough. Looking for Sandifort. Brings up a 2nd down and 10.
You have to be really impressed with the play action from Citrus. They're really, really doing a good job of disguising that and it's really making the defense for the Pirates hesitant to commit.
And, Mike, you made a good point earlier in this quarter, and I think it's showing up throughout this third quarter. Inside handoff, and a gain of about 5. The ball came out late. But this is a Pirate team that has struggled to put pressure on the quarterback with just 7 sacks as a team through their first 6 games, and they lose D'Amato Pecco for tonight. And they are not really getting anywhere close to Brian Salazar.
No.
Might have the tail end of that play when that ball did appear to come out. Let's see if we can see here on the delayed handoff. And Chapman really pulled down awkwardly. And I think he did a pretty good job of holding on to that football as he was going down. McKee back on, flags are down. Salazar flush from the pocket, throws on the run, and it's incomplete, but let's wait and see on the flag. For the moment, the Pirates have forced a 4th down.
Probably going to, well, it's 3rd and 5.
False start.
I think you have to take it.
Well, they didn't blow the play dead, which I think is interesting. But they will mark it off. I think they're assessing this penalty. I don't think they're giving the Pirates a choice because I think at 4th and 5, I think the Pirates would have taken their chances on a 4th down. But that's, of course, just speculation. Empty backfield on a 3rd and 10 from the Pirate 43.
Pretty soft coverage on the high side.
4-man rush. Complete pass to Bateman. He goes to his favorite target, who is very close to the 1st down, appears to have enough, and he does.
Just looking at the formation, there was really just very loose coverage on that high side there for the receivers. It's a simple pitch and catch.
Yes, Salazar locks in on Bateman. Fingertip grab by Enriquez down to the 27. It's a gain of 6. It leaves a 2nd down and 4, brought down by Easton Baker. Well, the Pirates were close to getting off the field.
Man.
But Salazar finds Bateman. Bateman been held largely in check, but that was a big catch at a big moment. Salazar again flush, now heaves for the end zone.
Picked
and
off.
The pass incomplete, maybe picked off. It looks like it is.
What a play.
I believe it was Marcellus Brigham. Let's watch here as Salazar takes a chance. Momentarily appeared to have a receiver open, but watch the recovery.
Wow.
Yeah, Brigham guarding Morales and gets back. He made up about 4 or 5 yards while that ball is in the air.
Do we have another angle?
Well, we have the other one, but I believe this is all the way at the other end of the field. Let's see how close we can get.
Here.
And watch here as Brigham,
that
is sensational. Going up against Keaton Morales, pretty big and strong himself, but Marcellus Brigham comes up with the interception. It's the 2nd interception on Salazar tonight. But this one, I think you don't lay quite as much at the feet of Brian Salazar, who, if anything, maybe just didn't get quite enough on that throw as he's moving, as he makes the throw. That is an incredibly difficult throw to make. He sees Morales, but can't get it all the way there, and instead Brigham all the way back and rips it away.
Jeff, the throw was there. It's just a matter of the defense making a play and the offense not. What a play. I mean, that's play of the week territory right there for Ventura.
Final play of the third quarter as Brigham preserves the Pirate lead as we head to the fourth, 24-17. It's Pirate football on the VC Sports Network. Start of the fourth quarter, and the Pirate offense back on the field after the big interception. 1st and 10 from the 38. Glover on the carry, stood up after a gain of a yard. Bear Baker finishing off Cohen Glover. Leaves a 2nd and 9. We do have an Owl player down as we start the fourth quarter. Heroes all over the place for the Pirates. Offensively, on special teams, and now defensively.
Ventura. That pass broken up on 2nd and 9, so 3rd and long coming up for the Pirates.
Owl defense looking to get off the field quickly. And where do you go if you're Leon, who has quietly put together an exceptional performance tonight? Now 15 of 19 for 140 yards, a couple of touchdowns, no interceptions. While we've been talking about Salazar and his stellar play, especially here in the second half. Brayson Leon, the freshman, once again. Outstanding. 4-man rush. Leon under pressure, now dumps it short. Finds Glover. Glover breaks a tackle and has the first down. Cohen Glover with 2nd effort moves the chains.
Jeff, it's an incredible job offensively. The play has changed after a hard count was initiated. They find a play here to get them past the sticks.
You know, watching Glover handle that hard contact, fall forward, pick up the first down. Looking over the stats this week, one of the underrated stats that we haven't talked about a lot this season is how great the Pirate running backs have been in terms of ball security. Coming into action this week, 194 carries from the top 3 backs, 2 fumbles, no fumbles lost. And this is hard running from the 3 backs. And they do a great job taking the contact and not only picking up yardage after contact, but holding on to the ball.
Expect Ventura to take as much air out of this football as possible. Speaking of a defense trying to recoup, Ventura has been on their back heel for much of this second half.
Salter on the carry. Off tackle on the left side, has enough for the first down. Over there following Nathan Gonzalez and O.J. Ocampo. And the Pirates move the chains. Looking out there as well. Yeah, that's Justin Davis as well on, and it's been a tremendous effort from a very deep and talented offensive line from the Pirates this season. And you see Davis out there pushing the pile on the left side to help get Salter to that first down marker. Over the middle, Gillum has the reception near the first down marker. He's driven back by Elijah Ibanez, but with forward progress, he is right at the marker. and appears to have enough.
Yeah, they're going to give it to him.
Takes it to the Owl 30. Gillum with his 4th catch, including a touchdown in the first half. Leon stepping up, throws, and that one juggled and incomplete.
Oh, off the fingertips.
Elijah Davis can't quite secure it.
Davis climbs the ladder, just can't secure the pass.
Yeah, Davis has had a tough night over there working against Durant Johnson. Over there on the left side. And Johnson, a very talented corner for this Owl secondary. And that time, Davis unable to bring it in. Leaves a 2nd and 10. Adebayo for a gain of about 4. Leaves a 3rd and a long 6. Brought down by Comer. So they'll call it 3rd and a short 7 from the 27. And Mike, I'm going to beat you to the punch and wonder aloud if this is 4-down territory for the Pirates.
I'd have to imagine that it is.
I mean, from here, this is certainly at the outer reaches of Bodieng's range. Glover on in the backfield, deep drop for Leon, fires over the middle, completes to Kemp. First down for the Pirates as Kemp circles to the left, forced out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Johnson finally forced him out. But a big conversion on 3rd down.
Jeff, you beat me to the punch on the 4th down conversation. Ventura beat us to the punch, said, you know what? Forget about that. Forget all that.
Because we needed that 1st down. I see where you're going with that. 1st and 10 from the 11 of Citrus. Pirates back in the red zone, now 6 of 10 on 3rd down after that big 3rd down pickup on the completion to Kemp. Glover cuts it back, runs into Comer, and how strong is Cohen Glover as he knocked Jarrell Comer back. And I'll tell you, Jarrell doesn't get pushed back on his back too often.
No, he does not.
But Glover is some kind of power runner. 5'11", 205, but I'll tell you feel every bit of that 205 when you go to tackle Cohen Glover. 2nd and 5. Salter, good hole up the middle, near the 1st down marker. He's brought down shy of the goal line. Bear Baker with the stop keeps Salter out of the end zone. They haven't moved the chain, so it's 3rd and about a half a yard. For the Pirates, they have it down at the Owl 2-yard line.
And if you're the Pirates, you want to gain 1 yard here, take as much time off the clock as possible, but you wouldn't mind rumbling in for 6 as well.
McNabb on at quarterback. He'll take the snap. It's McNabb on the keeper on the left side. Doesn't reach. He has the 1st down, but McNabb, rather than reaching for the goal line, is held just out, but does have enough to give the Pirates now at least 3, if not 4 chances from inside the 1.
Yeah, it's a best case scenario if you're Ventura here. You're at the 1 yard line, and it's 1st and goal. Take as much time as you can off this clock. Now, you don't want to get too comfortable here. You want to make sure you don't lose 5 yards on a delay game.
McNabb flanked by Salter. It's McNabb hit behind the line. He's not going to get in.
You're going to give him the line of scrimmage. And again, this isn't terrible for the Pirates as they get a bunch of time off the clock here.
Little trouble on the snap.
Yeah.
And McNabb held out. And let's go back live. It's 2nd and goal. Clock still moving, so the Pirates are taking away some time as they are looking to push this lead back to 2 scores. Leon back at quarterback. Has the snap. Read option. Leon lowers the shoulder. He is held out. Might have lost a half a yard. This is some kind of stand from the Owl defense. Duran Johnson holds Leon out of the end zone.
Jeff, the last couple plays just look a little sloppy, just not executing with a lot of efficiency here. It doesn't look crisp, and I think it's allowing the defense to see where it's going. And Citrus, the Owls, doing a great job of pursuing the football and denying Ventura on the goal line.
Well, now we see Cohen Glover. Salter has had a fantastic night, 8 carries for 72 yards, including a touchdown. But Glover, I think, really the power runner among the three. He's on in the backfield, but a timeout on the field. Huge 3rd and goal coming up for the Pirates. They lead it 24-17, 7:38 remaining in the 4th on the BC Sports Network. Third and about 1.5 yards for the Pirates. The Pirates this season, 53% touchdowns in the red zone. That's just 28th in the 3C2A, and this is a team that usually has been exceptional getting touchdowns in the red zone. Glover in for the touchdown. Cohen Glover finds pay dirt. Great job in the interior of that offensive line. Sloniker moving to center along with Ocampo and Rosales. And Glover, the hard charge for the goal line, but he didn't really need it as the hole was there. Went in almost untouched. And the Pirates now midway through the 4th, back up a couple of scores at 30-17. Ing will look to tack on the extra point. Up and good. 31-17. The Pirates back out in front by 14. You are watching Pirate Football, brought to you by SoCalCollegeSports.com. Well, Mike, a little breathing room for the Pirates, and that's been the battle throughout the second half as the Owls have certainly woken in this second half, putting 14 on the board, but you look up and the Pirates have been able to match them with a couple of touchdowns on the board, and now back up 14, but still a lot of time, 7:35 remaining in the 4th.
I wonder what the amount of time was of possession for that drive of the Pirates. I mean, that was picture perfect, and now they have a fresh defense out to make some plays.
Tiptoeing the near side, out of bounds, out past the 30 at the 32.
And, Jeff, if memory serves, that was the drive after the interception.
Yeah, after the Brigham interception. And in a game that has been so close in so many ways, it's, again, just when it looked as though the Owls might have a very real shot at tying this one up. One play seems to be what separates them from tying this game or being down 14.
Jeff, you go back to that. That was in the 3rd quarter. That interception was in the third. So
it was a lengthy drive.
That drive took off maybe 8-9 minutes.
Big hole up the middle for Chapman. Still on his feet as he slips out of a tackle at the 45. Finally stood up at the 40.
Well, there's no
but that is
for that.
Go ahead, Mike.
The defense has had a ton of time to rest. You cannot allow a hole like that right in the middle of the defense.
Yeah, Chapman coming off a solid performance in the loss against Long Beach a week ago with 75 yards on 12 carries, and his numbers right about there again tonight. So Keon Chapman really picking it up as this season has gone along. That was very close to a season-long running play from Chapman. We'll wait and see what they officially call it. His previous season high was 33 yards, and that was very close to that same total. 2nd and 3, Salazar completes the pass inside the 25 as he finds Enriquez. Brought down at the 23. Rose in there for the stop with a little help from Bodafowski. Still good enough for about 8 yards. Call it 9. No, they are going to say it was enough for a first down. So Enriquez does move the chains. It's a 1st and 10. Just that quickly, the Owls are at the Pirate 23. Chapman dragged down by Green after a pickup of a couple, and if Green doesn't get Chapman there, he's into the Pirate secondary again. That was another decent hole, but give Green a lot of credit for the strength to pull Chapman down after a gain of just 2, under 6 minutes to go. Salazar nearly intercepted.
Well, the Pirates dial up a blitz there, and that rushes Salazar, and Salazar gets away with one there.
Yeah, Dre Nelson had both hands on it, but couldn't bring it in. It's a 3rd and 8 now for the Owls, and at this point, the Owls, you can be sure, are not thinking about field goals. Down 14. With 5:50 remaining, the Pirates again coming on the blitz. Salazar just heaves on the far side, and the pass incomplete. He was looking for Bateman, who was over there one-on-one, but the coverage was very good. And the Owls will go for it.
Here. Jeff, if you're the Owls, why aren't you running the football? You've had so much success running the football here in the second half in particular. Make that a manageable 4th down. Now it's 4th and long.
They're 1 of 1 on 4th down tonight. A big pickup in the first half that led to a field goal. This one maybe to stay alive. Salazar throws, looking for Bateman, and it's incomplete. Who else? Charlie Neos locked up with Bateman and makes the big play, denying the Owls, and now the Pirates can go to work on the clock. Well, Neos has been Mr. Do-Everything for this defense all season and lays out to deny Bateman the reception. 5:40 remaining. The Owls still have all 3 timeouts, so there's a lot of time, but boy, oh boy, a couple of first downs here for the Pirates, and they can really chew up some clock. Snap to Leon Salter on the carry. Runs into Bear Baker. Baker in the backfield where he has spent an awful lot of time tonight.
Well, you get the sense of urgency from the defense of Citrus. They need to get off the field in a big way in a hurry.
And not a surprise that they are likely going to sell out to stop the run. Got to figure the Pirates would love to chew up a little clock, but I imagine that Steve Mushagan pretty comfortable putting that ball in the hands of his young quarterback, Brayson Leon. Quick pitch. Salter flags her down, tries to cut it back, and with second effort manages to fall forward. Give him about 3 yards, but a flag is down.
And an area of a hold.
Well, that'll stop the clock. Penalties haven't been much of a storyline tonight. Citrus just 3 penalties in the game. If this one goes against the Pirates, it would be just the 7th on the Pirates. So not a lot of penalties and not a particularly huge penalty in terms of the storyline here tonight that I can recall, Mike. No penalty comes at a great time, but none that I think were particularly important in terms of telling the story.
Yep.
2nd and 20.
There's maybe one earlier in the second half where Ventura had a chance to get off the field, and I think I think they were offsides.
Yeah, that was, I think, back in the first half. And Leon scrambling, still looking. Now will pick his way forward. Leo Lopez eventually tracks him down. But there is just a great example of, I think, what makes Brayson Leon such a tremendous quarterback for the Pirates.
Well, he understands the situation.
Exactly what I was going to say. Just understands that what kills you right here is turning the ball over, and knows not to force it, and instead finds his way for 7 yards. That leaves a 3rd and 13, but the clock's moving, and the Pirates still have the football.
Gotta hurry.
Play clock winding down. Leon has the snap. The draw to Salter. Salter explodes through a hole. He's out past the 35 for a first down. That is a massive conversion for the Pirates.
Man, I mean, that's basically the ball game there, Jeff.
Yeah, the Owls have the ability to stop the clock, but down 14, and now the Pirates with 3 more plays coming. Will they? Obviously, 2 scores, anything can happen in football, but we're winding down toward 3 minutes. So for the moment, the Owls are going to preserve those timeouts. Glover out past the
Jeff,
40 to the 44.
If Citrus was going to have a chance, that play there needed to be a stop. Instead, a huge hole and a great burst of speed for the first. The Pirates in the driver's seat.
Yeah, Salter getting close to 100 yards, and it's noteworthy as it's been on very few carries, as they have spread it around between Salter, Glover, and Adebayo, the 3-headed monster. There is no larger head between the 3 of them, I think you could say, by this point in the season. They are almost carry for carry, splitting the running duties. Glover, little hesitation, now slips through a hole. He has the first down. And indeed, the Pirates, as we head down to the 2-minute timeout, might be able to completely run this one out. 2-minute timeout from the VC Sportsplex. The Pirates looking to survive and stay undefeated. Now just 2 minutes away on top, 31-17. Pirates back on, down to the 2-minute timeout. Perhaps an opportunity to close it out here. Salter for a gain of about 5. And now the Owls are going to take a timeout. So they'll take their first charge timeout with 1:48 remaining. And the Pirates on top here on the VC Sports Network. Back live, and Salter breaking tackles, has a first down and more. With that, Salter certainly well over 100 yards and might have just salted this one away completely. As now, even with the 2 timeouts remaining, it would appear that victory formation is in the offing for the Pirates. Looking ahead to next week, the Pirates take to the road. They will be on the road the next 2 Saturdays. Starting next week, they are at Santa Ana as the Dons move into the National North this season as well. So the Pirates will get their first look at Santa Ana as a member once again of the National North. Glover on the carry. The week after, the Pirates with a looming huge game down in Long Beach against the suddenly resurgent Vikings of Long Beach City College, who are 3-1 in conference play, and after stumbling out of the gate, the Vikings now with a couple of big wins have pulled it together in this crowded National North. And they're 3-1, and always big, talented, and dangerous. And so that is a tough assignment coming up in a couple of weeks. But next week, the Pirates in Santa Ana to take on the Dons. The Pirates return home for their final home contest in the final week of the regular season. That on November 8th. That's the next time we'll be joining you here on the VC Sports Network, as we'll have the Pirates back on as they welcome in the Mount San Antonio College Mounties in a game that is almost certain to have all kinds of playoff implications. So we'll look ahead to that. Certainly the next VC Sports Network broadcast next Friday night, where it'll be women's volleyball here on the VC Sports Network. Thanks so much for joining us. Final score here from the Sportsplex, 31-17. The Pirates still perfect. 7-0 on the season, now 4-0 in conference play as they outlast a very game citrus Owl team. Final once again, 31-17. Thanks so much for joining us. So long, everybody.